handmade with bamboo and twine. And it was magnificent. The craftsmanship was amazing.
Wow.
And there was, in front of this, it was many tens of thousands of people were there. And instead of all this work, instead of crash barriers at the front, they had 4 policemen with a piece of string that was unbroken throughout the whole show.
Wow.
They held the crowd just by being there. There were a couple of kids that got tangled up with a string around their neck, but it was just a joy to behold. And the other thing was the lighting towers at each side of the sound and light desk.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 huge towers on top of which they put some old Super Troopers, the kind of things that you'd see for anti-aircraft searchlights, or in Hollywood to light up the sky. Massively powerful things that were gas-powered to start with. You had to ignite them to start with. And then this huge beam warmed up and became sensational. Well, they'd been up there for a little while, and they didn't know that a vulture had nested in one of the towers or decided to make it home. And so they fired up this thing, which made a big boom. And the vulture went whack and came out of the tower and landed quite heavily on the ground, and I think was probably a bit stunned or disturbed. But you know how people are in India with creatures, and so the creature was walking around amongst the crew and everything else all day and all afternoon during the sound check, during which time I had a little slight touch of Delhi belly, and I was a little bit nervous because the toilets were at the other end of the field, and they hadn't thought of that. And of course, normally that wouldn't be a problem. But on my occasion, I said, well, we better arrange something temporary backstage for me, if you don't mind. So they made a little cave of, flight cases and screen, and they put a bucket in there for me. And
Wow.
Needless to say, after the second song, I felt the need. And so I said, solo, guys, long solo. So I dashed back off the stage, went into my little cave, and I sat down on the bucket, and I sensed something next to me, and it was all dark, and there was the vulture sitting next to me, looking equally uncomfortable. So it's a priceless memory that has always been there. And normally it's not a story that interests anyone, but as you asked.